Welcome back to Behind the Wire on Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Robert Burwell. I'm also the president of the Washington 3%. Today, we're going to step away from local politics for a minute. We had some important things happen, so I'm going to go over that. And what you need to be aware of and what you need to do to protect yourself in the coming weeks. So today is June the 22nd, 2025. As you know, last night, President Trump ordered a strike on the Iranian enriched uranium facilities, and it was a very successful strike, but because of that, there's going to be some fallout, and so we need to be ready for that, and I will talk to you a little bit about that in a minute. First things first, there's a lot of people online, especially the Democrats, they're whining and complaining and talking about, Donald Trump can't do that attack, because only Congress can declare war, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's true. Only Congress can declare war. President Trump has not declared war. He did a surgical preemptive strike, something every president the last half a century has done in their presidency. As a matter of fact, for all you Democrats that are so upset about Trump doing this, during President Obama's administration, he did, according to the Council on Foreign Relations, he did 542 strikes outside of the continental United States without Congress declaring war. 542. Okay, these were targeted strikes against, Muslim fortifications, against persons of interest, I guess, leaders in some of these Muslim movements, like ISIS and things like that. He hit, leaders in radical Islamic groups in Yemen and all over the place. He famously hit a wedding, so that was awesome. But he ordered 542 strikes like that. He did it 542 times. Trump does it once, Democrats lose their mind. Obama does it 542 times. It's okay, right? Good old Democrat double standard. Their hypocrisy knows no bounds. But that is, according to the Council of Foreign Relations. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence reports that Obama did 473 strikes outside areas of active hostilities between January 2009 and December 2015, and 53 such strikes in 2016. So again, perfectly fine for Obama to order all these preemptive strikes without Congress declaring war. But Trump does it once. It's the end of the world. Sky's falling. You idiots need to check your hypocrisy. Probably should look at facts before you open your stupid mouths. And for those of you listening to him, do your own research. Okay? So, now we got that aside about the strikes, whether or not Trump could do them or not. Well, if he couldn't do them, then Obama's in deep trouble, because he did a lot of them, and so was every other president. I mean, Reagan did them, Clinton did them, Bush Sr. did them, Bush Jr. did them, Obama did them, Biden did them. Crickets. Trump does it. End of the world. Shut up. You look stupid. But since Trump did do the strike, we do have a problem. And that problem is that Iran is, rattling their saber. Of course, they want revenge for those strikes. And one of the biggest issues, their military, not a factor. They're not a threat. What is a threat are Islamic terror cells in the United States. That's a big threat. And that's where I'm tying it into our local areas, because Washington, as you know, we are a loving, welcoming sanctuary state. So, as a result, we have a lot of pro-Muslim groups in this state. Some public, some not so public. The list is very long. The fact of the matter is, we've got a lot of people saying, oh, there's terrorists in the country, the FBI'd be all over it, yada, yada, yada. For the most part, they're trying. But we have a big problem from the last 4 years. During the last 4 years, the completely incompetent Biden administration, who, with the help of their media, lied through their teeth saying the border was secure for 4 years when everybody who had eyes knew it wasn't. They managed to leave the borders wide open, and during that time, between 10 and 20 million people crossed the border, depending on who you want to listen to. And Border Patrol was able to stop about 7 million of those people. But when they stopped them, they just gave them paperwork and told them they had a court date, 3 years from now, and put them on a bus and sent them, wherever in the United States. They didn't turn them back. So they let them in, even though they're illegal. But the big problem lies in the number of gotaways, the people that didn't get caught crossing the border. Okay? Now, the lowest estimate, the absolute lowest estimate I could find for gotaways, people who were never even intercepted, came across undetected, the lowest estimate I can find is 2 million people. 2 million people crossed this border, and we don't know who they are, where they went, or where they're from, what they're doing here. Now, just to put things in perspective, during those 4 years, Biden's incompetent Border Patrol policies, they were still able to catch between 361 and 382 known terrorists trying to cross our border. These are known terrorists that they caught. Great job, they caught those guys. But those are just known terrorists. Now what you have to look at is, well, we got at minimum 2 million people that made it across that nobody ever seen, at minimum, with estimates up to 10 million, depending on who you want to go with. That's why I'm being super safe and going with the absolute lowest estimate from the left on how many people crossed the border and got away. So if you have 2 million people that got through undetected, how many terrorists, how many Islamic militants got through? And not just them. We're talking right now, we're concentrating on, violent Islamist cells. We also know for a fact that there are also Chinese cells. And the majority of those crossed Biden's border. The Chinese cells are here, mainly for, if they're activated, to attack infrastructure. That is their mission if they get activated. We have no idea how many are here. We do know they're here. We catch some sometimes. The FBI catches them sometimes. But generally, until they activate, we have no idea who they are. And once they get activated, then our window is very short to catch them. And we've been really lucky in the past. We've caught them. We've caught most of them. The fact of the matter is due to the terrible border policies of the former administration, the states like mine that have sanctuaries, the cities that are sanctuaries, this is where these people go to remain undetected. And when they get triggered, they have a specific mission before they come here. They're given a mission. And if they ever get triggered, they carry out that mission. And the way the Islamic cells work is they not only do they have the mission, but they have a list of events that will trigger them automatically so that there is no communication to set them on their path of destruction. It's just certain events. If a certain event happens, you automatically do this. Okay? Now, given, common sense and probability, do you think the United States, not using a proxy like Israel, the United States directly bombing Iran, do you think that would be a triggering event to set these cells off? I think so. I think so. And so do a lot of the people in government intelligence right now are stating that. I've been getting a lot of warnings from people who are connected, telling me that this is, we're on super high alert right now for these cells to be triggered and to operate. And even, what we're hearing from the official channels is, they're concerned about terror cells making themselves known now that we've done this attack. There are warnings going out. This morning, we had an attack on a church in Illinois. A gunman tried to drive into the church, jumped out, and was actually run over by a parishioner and then shot by one of the church security members, one of the armed church security members, shot and killed this person. Now, was this person connected to what's going on with Iran? Nobody knows yet. There's a lot of speculation out there. I'm not going to say one way or the other, but this is the type of things that we could expect to happen. Like I said, it's way too early to tell what this guy was, and even if the government does happen to time into that type of thing, odds are we won't be told that because they don't want to spread panic. But I do know that the FBI did report they are investigating it to see if there are ties to Iran in this incident. And from what I've been able to gather, I really don't think so. I think this was just some nut job. But you never know. It's just the timing's kind of makes it suspect. Could just be a sympathizer who is acting alone. Who knows? But that being said, these type of attacks can be happening anywhere. One thing that we do know about how these people operate, they like to go after infrastructure. They like to hit like transfer stations for power. They like to hit dams, things like that. They like to go after infrastructure to disrupt our lives. But they also like to go after big public targets. Big soft targets, public soft targets. I've seen a lot in Europe. They go after things like railway stations, subways, things like that, where they can kill the most people with the least amount of effort. Here out west, we don't have a lot of that. We don't have trains and stuff like they do back east, but you do have a lot of big public areas. Any celebrations that are going on. 4th of July coming up, right? We got 4th of July coming up, and there's going to be a lot of big public things. These could be targeted by these cells. Is it going to happen? I don't know. But I'm just putting this out there so that you can be aware of your surroundings when you're out and about in the coming weeks. We got the holiday weekend coming up. Any place that has a large crowd could be considered a target. You want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on around you. Pay attention. If you see shady people, get out. And like always, I advise anybody, especially in Washington State with this ridiculous crime we have in this state, if you don't already have a pistol, get one. If you have a pistol, get a concealed carry license and carry, because you're your own first self-defense. You're your own best self-defense. Calling 911 does nothing. By the time the police get there, you've either been robbed and they're gone, or you're laying there dead. All police can do is show up and investigate the crime. They cannot stop it. They cannot get there in time to stop a crime. They cannot get there in time to save your life. The only one who can save your life is you. Get a pistol. Get training. Get a concealed carry license and carry. And especially in times like this, with the heightened security threats that we have, not only from the leftist whack jobs running out there and, burning stuff and rioting and throwing bricks and crap, not only because of that, but because we now have this international threat, the threat of terrorism that could happen anywhere. And, a lot of people, they like to say that, well, they only go after New York, because that's a big target. They go after New York because that's popular, or they might go after California. I do know that these groups that have cells in the nation, they have them all over the nation. They're there for specific reasons. Every region has something that's a big target, something that they would want to take out. And these people have the mission to take out certain things, and they're all over the country. Okay, they aren't just little single attacks like 9/11. They have people in place to completely take us down. It would be a coordinated hit when a predetermined event happens, where they would just all go out at the same time and they would hit everywhere at once and cripple the United States. That's the whole point of these sleeper cells. And if Iran has sleeper cells in this country, I know we have, we all know we have radical Muslim cells. How deep are their ties to Iran? We don't know. But if they get activated on Iran's side, we could have a very bad couple of weeks coming up. So with that being said, over the coming weeks, if you have the ability, arm yourself. If you have the ability, carry in public. Protect yourself, protect your family. Be aware, and keep your eyes open. And with that being said, that's all I got for today. We'll see you next time on Behind the Wire. Good night.